We're at ISTELive 22. I'm at the ClassVR booth with Chris Klein. Chris, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and then introduce the viewers, the listeners to ClassVR. I understand there's some exciting announcements that you guys have, some excellent partnerships that's going on right now. So here's a little bit about Chris at ClassVR.
Thank you, Dan. My name is Chris Klein. I am the head of education for North America. I've been with the company since we launched the product in the U.S., of course, about 6 years ago. In that time, we've seen a huge groundswell of support for VR. People look at it and they say, this is the next big thing, but they really don't know what that means. And there have been several people that have jumped into the, let's say, into the bloodstream, and they said, well, this is for field trips, or this is for a game, or this is for an app, and there's different regulations and things like that. And at the end of the day, teachers are really excited, and they want to know how it can help them, but they also want to know that they're safe, secure, and the students are not going to be in a worse place than when they started using it. And that's what ClassVR is really focused on. So when we launched 5 years ago, we launched with a proprietary headset and management control system. That's ClassVR. That's the big orange, that's where, that's what everyone knows us for. That's really all about making it easy for teachers to utilize virtual and augmented reality in the classroom and not have to have a PhD in astrophysics to do it. If they have a PhD, that's what it is, but it shouldn't be. So I jokingly will refer to it as AR and AR. In that role is kind of the next iteration of transparency. It's not your curriculum. Teachers are teachers. We're here to support them, and we want our software to say, what needs you have? Let's give you something easy to use so that you can bring in AR and AR to enhance what you're already doing, not abandoning years and years of pedagogy to try to adopt a piece of technology.
You know, I think it makes sense. You said 6 years. I think that was when sort of this push for AR and VR started infiltrating education a little bit. I know I've dabbled in it years ago and kind of got away from it a little bit, but I can tell that at this conference, ISTELive 22, it's a major focus. I was in an AR VR playground session yesterday, and there were a lot of demonstrations on a lot of different programs, really, not necessarily hardware and products like yours, but it is exciting. I think it's next level in terms of education. You know, you talk about project-based learning, and it's been a lot about having kids create physical things, but I think creating virtual spaces, VR, and dabbling in that next level of spaces is where we're headed. And so congratulations on all the work that you've been doing. Tell us a little bit about these announcements that I think have just come out. So kind of breaking news here, right? What's going on with ClassVR currently? New announcements, where's the company headed? What's the Eduverse? I think that's part of it, right? Am I getting there?
Yeah, you're absolutely getting there. So what we've seen as a company, as I said, I think there's really two diametrically, not necessarily opposed, but not in step, not the same with each other when it comes to VR. One is the consumer model, and one is the education. The consumer model obviously is driven by, yes, it's hardware sales and an app store. One of the things that we really don't talk about in class are apps, because all apps means you're turning over control of the classroom, right? The developer who you've ever met doesn't know your student. So when we started, as I said, with ClassVR, we started with, okay, if you have a 360 picture and you want to bring that and use that with your student, we're going to give you the platform that you can easily just bring it in, push it out to our headset, and the students can experience it. If you have a 360, if you have a VR video, and then it became if you have augmented reality, so if you have a 3D printer, you want to use a GLB or STL, everything we do with ClassVR is free file. So JPEG, PNG, MP4, STL, GLB, these things are not going to go away. They're not going to no longer be supported because you have a new operating system or chipset on your Android phone, right? That was what we were doing for, like I said, the last 6 years. We're still doing it, and I think we have teachers that that's what they want. But as we see what else is possible, the next thing that we brought in is Avantis. we started to play around when COVID hit, and we started to say there are a lot of social and emotional needs that students have that they're not being met by, let's just say, dial-in technologies, right? I know that lots of teachers, lots of schools switched over to a platform, and the problem with that platform is the students didn't want to have cameras because they're at home. They don't want you to see where they live. They don't want you to see their bedroom. So that became always a hurdle. Students didn't really use that platform. Teachers had to use that platform. And so there was friction. So what we did is we started to explore and play around with the idea of virtual spaces, online virtual spaces. And what if we could get the students represented by avatars rather than live cameras? That led us into something that we came out with called Room, which is a free VR room, free offering that anyone could download and use. They could bring their students together. It ties in with any type of hardware, iPads, phones, Chromebooks, laptops, whatever. And it also supported voice over IP, so you no longer have the problem of distance stopping that conversation. Then we said, well, what if we took Room and we actually started to make these educational environments instead of just, hey, let's go on the virtual playground together. Let's actually go onto the let's walk around. Let's put the lunar module. Let's put the space landing station. Let's hear Neil Armstrong's. What can we do from a virtual space to make this more interesting and exciting? And then we said, let's start to write some curriculum guides. You don't have to use those curriculum guides, but it's a way to kind of get teachers started in the right direction. So Avantis World came out about 8 months ago, and we currently have over 265 scenes that are broken down into 4 different worlds. We thought about whether we should model this after a museum. Kids find museums boring. So we modeled it after a theme. So if you think like Epcot Center, we have 4 different lands. We have Time Land, we have Super Science, Engaging Earth, and we have Literacy. And each one of those is broken down into further subsections, which has several scenes that the teachers are able to assign to a student or bring the entire class together, regardless of the device, regardless of their location, and in an instructional, educational metaverse dynamic. That led us to the launch today of Eduverse.
Sorry, I just had a follow-up question. So clearly, a couple years ago, everyone was virtual, and some of these things became, as you kind of alluded to, more of a necessity that we never really needed before. Sounds like you've adapted. I'm kind of guessing that maybe that we have someone watching or listening who would say, like, back in person now, can we still do this? How do we get started? What are the best ways to use it? To me, it sounds like kind of a mesh compromise, if you will, between like meeting spaces and virtual field trips, and everything is kind of in there and is even more immersive, right, than your average virtual field trip would be. Am I getting that right?
Absolutely, and I think you hit on something there that I didn't really bring up before, but one of the concerns that people have in the marketplace about virtual reality, especially for younger students, has to do with how their brains are formed, what does this do to their vision, all of that. There are some medical studies. The difference, though, in what we do, as opposed to other companies that actually have to put disclaimers on their headset, is that we do not, I don't envision 30 students with 30 headsets on for 45 minutes of class. I'm sorry, I'm an old school teacher. That's not teaching. That's edutainment at best. So instead, we always view ourselves as an on-again, off-again technology. Utilize virtual and augmented reality to be able to enhance and really excite the students at a level that you're not able to do within the physical confines of the classroom with virtual and augmented reality resources. This is taking it to that next step. Yes, it's one thing for me to be able to show you a 360 picture of this is what it looks like on the moon. I can get that from NASA. It's another thing to be able to walk around and ask probing questions, etc. So I do think that this is still a great way to reinforce what you're doing, but again, not have it take over and be the sole form of instruction. However, since we now work on any device, any network, anywhere, as long as you have a browser, it opens up in case something should happen in the future, in case COVID comes back or anything like that. There's another tool in the teacher's toolbox.
I love how you said it's browser based. Schools like mine, districts like mine who have Chromebooks, you can still use this. So any device. I love it. I really do. I think it is next level. Like I said before, I think it, as you just said too, very immersive and it is experiential learning at its core, right? So I appreciate your time. Before we go, let the listeners and viewers know how they might be able to go about using ClassVR. If no matter what level they're at, teacher, administrator, how do they find out more? How do they start bringing this into their classrooms?
Absolutely. The biggest thing that I can say, everyone who went live today, they go to Eduverse.com. You're able to go there, sign up for free. You're going to have access to some of our free content, including our new expeditions powered by Eduverse. And all of that will work on any device, any browser. So you can have it at home, you can have it at school, you can have it on iPads, you can have it on Chromebook. We want to make it easier for everyone to create a party. And then if you are wanting more information about our headset, because that is the sort of ultimate of immersive, then yes, go to classvr.com. We would love to have someone talk to you, schedule a call, do a demo. It's great either way you do it. It is still advancing the technology and improving education. It's a question of where you feel most comfortable dipping your toe in the water. If you had Nimble Expeditions kids before, now you can use Expeditions powered by Eduverse. If you have Chromebooks, just go to eduverse.com. All of it's there, and we can't wait to see the next chapter.
We can't wait either, guys. Chris Klein from ClassVR, Eduverse.com. Lots of great, exciting things going on for ClassVR at this point. Reach out if you're interested. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you.